you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. Today, a dawn is awakening. A new day is being born. It's February 8th, 2021. The 8th day of the second month in the new year. Rise and shine. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Commander Galpohkpa Chesson talk show. Every season has a reason. And we are in a new season, not only in the United States of America, in the whole wide world. And as we evolve into this new era, changes in America, especially my homeland in the great nation of America, as we change from an era of tyranny of the majority, tyranny of the masses of white people, tyranny of a race that enslaved other people. We are moving into a new era now. And you see the part about this new era? The people who are already hurt, the people who are already enslaved, us, Negroes, we are not the people fighting America today. So why is there so much hate among white people today? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put my topics up and let's start. Oh Lord, I forgot the why. Sorry, folks. Let me just check this out and correct it. So now you used to type in something constantly. You just think it's automatic. Okay, let's see what we got here before I email. Today's topics: societal norms, education, and living in America. 2, religious norms and Liberian society. 3, can evil replace good? Let's start with my first topic. I already touched on it. Societal norms, education, and living in America. So as you see, we are emerging into a new era in American society where change is a necessity. And not only change from one aspect, change from the entire aspect of constitutional democracy, of living, livelihood, equality, protection, everything. We have to restructure everything in our country. because we have dealt with one dominant societal form of living because of the tyranny of the majority of white people. So everything we do in our norms, in our way of living, is based on white culture, white societal living. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you get to the point where the opposition, or what appears to be opposition to those norms, are threatened, are censored, are controlled by the same forces that have dominated society for 400 years, that's a problem. How you give me freedom and don't give me speech? How you give me freedom when freedom in our Constitution demands individual freedoms and liberties from the government? So in the government and the institutions that support the governments are still racist and impeding speech because of what their interpretation of societal norms should be. That's a problem for us. And why? Black people have never had the chance to develop like white people. Even now, our society is still disparaged, is still unequal. Look at the vaccination. Black people still complaining that we the most threatened with this COVID-19 and have died in masses. But yet, the rich people get the treatment first. It's not rich people only white. It's every kind of rich people. Money talks in America. So when money is equally shared, there's no racism in America. There's no racism because everybody wants money. Then the racism becomes grain. Who has the grain? Then from that, we come to who can access the system well. So, in a system where nepotism is perpetuated, where nepotism has been the norm from time immemorial, our police force, especially our military, especially our security, especially, are filled with people who are relatives of each other, especially the police. And it's been tolerated for years. So if these people are racist and they bring in their family in who they have trained and indoctrinated to be racist, how can black people ever have a chance? No matter what kind of law change, we still ain't going to have a chance. Because the same people will bend the law time and time again, just as they've been bending it, and that's what they call it Jim Crow. Because every time we take a step forward, we take 2 steps backwards. And all that is because we're not conscious of ourselves. We're not conscious of the fact that if people are going to lead us, they got to understand leadership themselves. And if they don't understand leadership and freedoms and know the law and know how to apply it correctly, we'll stay enslaved forever. Because what good are you knowing the law and its application you can't apply? And that's what happened with most black lawyers in our society. Simple things they should handle with talking and expressing themselves. They won't go to court. Because this is how our system has evolved. The wealthy people in our society don't know our society because they have been conditioned to the fact that before you can rise to any standard in society, you got to express yourself well to the white man. And the white man got to accept what you're telling him as norms that he believes in. And he doesn't believe it, you ain't getting there. And this got to stop. They cut our speech in the media. They punish us with speech. They do everything negative to us. A man like me Can I have my speech censored? You're going to do that to people who don't know their rights, people who don't understand law. You'll go to the black Americans. Because if they can stay here 400 years in this country and don't know the application of the law, and I came here and failed the fire exam 5 times and damn well know the application of the law, that's a problem. Because there is no way we can apply the law fairly when there is still a tyranny of the majority. They punish us for speech. Then they act like it's a law. It's not a law. It's not the law. That's a white people law. This is a diverse society. And people of my community are not as wealthy, as privileged, as educated, and as peaceful as the white people. And they're still not peaceful. They got white people in the military. Terrorists running around. And they're not educated either. But they teach them to shoot, to kill. My people. And we don't have a chance. So why am I coming on Facebook and YouTube pretending that I'm all hyped and mixed when my young children know better? And say, look at that man. He's talking like a white man. He's dressing like a white man. He acting like a white man. I am an American. White, black, blue, and yellow, I don't care. But there are certain standards of American culture that promote all races of people in America, and there are other cultures that are based on tyranny of the majority. And if you don't agree with it, your mental thinking is not right. And that is the worst form of tyranny of the majority. And when you play with me, I got to talk. I got to talk. I'm not Prophet Key then. I'm a different man. It's not revolution. It's not radical. It's the law. It's the law. There's a part in the law called tyranny of or by the majority. So if you under that tyranny, if you don't understand your law, your reasoning, your rationale, your comprehension of nature, life, and the laws, you will fail time and time again. And that's why failing the bar exam for me 5 times is no shame. It's no disgrace, because 5 times I had the opportunity to evaluate the law, to understand the law. Taking the bar exam, thing. I never took bar exam like that before. I ain't gonna hurt my head. I'm an old man. I'm in my 60s. When I took the exam, I was in my 40s, working my ass off. So, what time I had to take bar exam? And these are the faults in this society that we are silenced of. They want to talk about it like it's all peaceful and jolly for us. And when we talk about these things, it generates hurt. It generates frustrations. But you see, for a man like me, it doesn't generate hate. It doesn't generate hate. As I told you, racism has its faults and has its benefit. There's not everybody has racism in them. Everybody care about their tribe, their race, and their people especially. And that cannot be racism per se. People have been hurt. We have had so many wars in our lifetime. So people have generated hate because of those things. They have generated separation ideals because of those things. But when they become based on a massive race of all white people against all black people, because every race of white people have enslaved black people or have studied racism and enslavement of black people. So whether they have enslaved us or not, in their minds, what they have read have conditioned them to see us as enemies. Look at that crazy woman, Marjorie Taylor and Greene. What's she talking about? Them and us. Oh, because they don't look like us. Because we are different from them. Yeah, you can be different to them. Everybody got that racist tendency in them. But it's only racism when you want to suppress other people forever. When you want to slave other people for eternity. When people, despite their religious beliefs and principles, you still want to dominate them, then you don't believe in God. Then you don't believe in Jesus Christ. You don't believe in Islam. You don't believe in Judaism. You can't do that. You see? But you see, all these things rest on our religious teachings, on our religious beliefs. And when you have people like the Judas, the Jews, and the people that believe that nobody can be a part of their race, and that is divine. It's in the Bible. That's the blessing they got from Abraham. That's racism too. That terrible racism. And God knew that. God knew that by choosing one tribe as his chosen people was a mistake. Because they became proud, they became haughty, they became racist, they became mean, they became bitter, and they felt that they could take their power and do anything they want to do on earth. So God was displeased with them. And God realized that when man possesses power, it turns into absolute power. Then he turns it into his own power, superiority power. And that's why God brought Jesus Christ to demystify all that stuff and change it. And that's why when you follow Christ sincerely, put no other gods before you, he will reveal this truth to you. Because there's a truth for his coming. There's a truth for his separation of the Jewish church from the Christian church. Because God had deprived all of us of the right to his blessings and grace. God was looking at the world then and planting his seeds for change. But when they were planted, the Hebrew took it and misapplied it. And these are the mysteries that even our prophet Key they don't understand. Prophet Key always talking about God, 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 the Yahweh, Yahweh, all the kind. Yes, you can believe in those things if you're in the ancient world. That's why I always telling him, come to the realistic world, Prophet Key. Everybody not Jews. Our country don't have prophets. No, we don't have prophets. Jesus Christ is our only prophets. That idea of prophets and disciples and all the things, that was the Old Testament. Jesus didn't come to change that. No. But you can't take that as our national religion, that you the prophet of Liberia. We have no prophets. And that's the misapplication of the teaching of the truth. Because God knew the Hebrews were humans. They would take his teachings and use it for greed, for power, for oppressing other people, for doing evil on the earth. If I lie, read your Bible. How many times did God punish the Hebrew people? Put them into slavery in Egypt for centuries. Because they disobeyed him. And every time you disobey God, you will be punished. So we got to be careful with our interpretation of the teachings of God and look at it from a rational point of view. if you believe. And it will show you all the essences to why Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He is. It is not too physical transformation. It's spiritual. And when you look at Jesus' life, you look at the teachings of the prophets, you look at everything that has transpired from Judaism to Christianity to Islam, they are all interrelated. And of all the three religions, Jesus Christ's Christianity is the most appealing. If you understand what it means, if you understand what the transformation from man to God is and means. So when we misapply the teachings of our God, we become gods like ourselves. And that is not the teachings of God. We are praying for the kingdom to come. The Jews don't pray for that. The Hebrew don't pray for that. Jesus Christ taught us how to pray like that. So for Christians, we have a mission to prepare this land for Jesus Christ. And we have to know the ultimate laws of humanity. Because if we keep deceiving ourselves, saying that we understand the law, saying other people's law are our laws, and we see our children consistently going astray. We see our children consistently using drugs. We see our children consistently being frustrated with the way they're living and rebelling against society time and time again. There are problems in our society that we must check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. So what are the teachings of Jesus Christ? What are the truths about leadership that matters to us? Of societal norms, societal living. We cannot all, our country can't be like they want us to be on Facebook. Nobody's saying we should spew profanity. Even Prophet Key, sometimes you get tired of hearing all that kind of profanity, you know. Nobody spewing profanity. But when we're expressing things that are really significant to us and we slip, you can't hold us accountable for that. You can't. Because our societal norms and living are not what we see in society every day. We see it in one segment of society. But for men like me who work with the slum and living in the slum, I see a different kind of society. When I'm talking to little kids and they can turn around and use invectives on me when I'm advising them about something they're doing that was wrong, and they use invectives on me and tell me they can kick my butt if I don't shut up. Not training the mainstream American society telling us to give our children. How do our children deal with those kind of people? And this is what happened in our society today. We got nincompoops and criminals attacking our capital, and nobody to stand up against them because everybody educated and so smart and good, they forget we got hoodlums, slumlords, vagabonds, and pure useless people in our society. Not only white, they're black, they're white, they're Hispanic, they're Jews, the Arab tribe you can think about, or race you can think about. So how can we follow one norm when the masses of our society is deepening inequality, injustice, unlawful living? Then you tell me you won't punish me when I talk the truth? You won't shut me up when I talk about Donald Trump, about the wickedness he has perpetrated against me and my people for 4 years? How many black people died? So you think when I come here, I have no right to be angry about it? I have no right to express my feelings against a society that has perpetrated, enabled a criminal to rise to the presidency of America because of race and hatred, then you tell me I'm going to be silent? I'm going to shut up? My young American children, this is deception. This is lies. Y'all know our society is not like that. Y'all know everybody, all of y'all in your society don't walk around praising people and singing and say, oh, thank you, Jesus. And no, you know that's not how our world is. You know how some of you are hurting. You know how some of you are left out. You know how some of you are impoverished and still looking for food. Then they want me to come and tell you everything is all right. There's no starving. I shouldn't cuss. I should teach you that the path is right and jolly. And it's not. And the same people that's stopping me from speaking, that punishing me for speaking, are the same people whose children are living in wealth, extreme wealth, comfort, and will never need anything but use us to be disciplined, to be punished, and forever taught that we must live the white man's way. It is not right. It is not constitutional. Nobody wants to promote profanity. Nobody wants. If you see me here, yes, I say the same words Donald Trump said. Shit. Bullshit. I say those words. But words like the F word, it slips. You want to know why? Because I know, despite the hardship in my community, I cannot join that usage of just vulgarity when I'm talking. You see how I'm dressed? I got to maintain a sense of civility, of a civilized man that understand in my society there must be some form of check and balances on my behavior and other people's behavior. But our white people have to understand too that we have been suppressed for too long. We have been hurt for too long. And we can't be punished and silenced all the time. The decent people among us got to speak out. Got to speak out. Because all of my people are not the same. I hope you understand. I hope you appreciate what I'm telling you. I hope you understand that to change the people that we need to change, we got to know and be accepted by them. And if they do not accept us, they will not listen to us. So everything can be all hunky-dory and goody-good and pure and clean. Please give me a break and let me teach my people. Okay? Aluta! Continue on. Let me get my second lesson. I'm not even cutting short. I wasted too much time with this. Religious norms in Liberian society. These are the same things I'm stressing on you today. We have to know when to separate religious norms from our society and be physical, non-abstract, and know when to separate church from state, when to separate discipline from a peace sake, when to separate Christian teachings from vagabond, criminal, liars, and traitors. If we don't know that, then we still don't know what I teach you all the time, the prayer of serenity. Know what you need to know and you can change. Know the things you can't change and know how to separate them when you see them. And this is the problem we're having in Liberia today. We can't separate church from state. And when we can't do those two things, we are cursed. And that's why our religious leaders can come here and say the prophet, the this and that, because our people don't know truth. And this is my duty to teach you. I can't fall in that trap. I can't fall in that trap. Because we have to know how to deal with the discernment that God has blessed us with. So when we see stupidness and see reality, we know the difference between the two. And when we see it in different form, we can analyze it and say, no, this has got to be stupidness. This got to be unnatural. And that's what I do. That's what my job is. You don't see me following groups and parties. No, I never did that. Nobody in Liberia who knows Rodney Chesson can tell you Rodney Chesson is a follower of people. No, I've always had my own magazine, my own businesses, everything. And I never have money. I just been blessed. Because when you know the truth, Jesus is for you. He is the truth. So there's no way I can deceive you and say I will do this and do that. Because Rodney Chesson has never been a man to join with people. All my life, I've been alone. That's what people call me the one-man army. Basketball, I had my own team, the Rockets. Yeah, I played with Barrow and all of that for a while. But after I grew into myself and knowing that I can't be afraid to be independent. I can't be afraid to stand up on my own. I can't be afraid as a Christian to know that nothing is impossible with Jesus Christ. So even though I didn't know Jesus Christ at that time, like I know him now, I still stood alone because that was my destiny. And so that's the learning, the teaching I bring into your people. When you find your God yourself, nobody can mislead you. When you understand the teachings of your God yourself, nobody can mislead you. The Bible is separated into two testaments. We have the Old Testament, which deal with prophets. We deal with holy men. We deal with the divine abstract living of mankind. Then you have the New Testament of Jesus Christ, where God understood that there had to be a change in the world. That if he got to be almighty God of the universe, he cannot have a chosen people. All people got to be accepted in the realm of the divine. So that's why he sent Jesus Christ. That's why Jesus Christ is greater than a prophet. He cannot be called a prophet. Because if God made a mistake and that mistake had to be changed, he can't send ordinary man. He got to send a man who is imbued with divine powers. And that's why Jesus could change water to wine. That's why he could raise the dead, heal the sick, all those kind of things to show to us that he was the Son of God. But they wanted us to think he was a demon. He was imbued with powers that were that divine. And you got to understand these religious teachings. Jesus came to free us from all those thoughts. He came to give us the powers himself, ourselves, so we don't depend on anybody else to find the power. That's why the power is rooted in belief, in faith, in believing in things you do not see, but understanding that the God you have can make anything possible. When you understand those things, then you cannot be deceived with religious norms and teachings. And this is what confuses our country. Because we are in the spiritual realm. That's why they brought a white woman to tell us who to vote for. Joe Walker is the best and all that. And she told us, she said we are in the spiritual realm. We are people who believe in spiritualism. But as young as you are, you cannot be deceived if you understand how to connect the spiritual with the physical. Because everything we need to know is in the spiritual. When people come to us and tell us that this and that and this and that, and Jesus Christ has told us all we need to know, two things: love God, the God of Israel, that is God, that is Father. I don't care whether Jesus Christ was a great prophet or not. What Jesus tells me matters. He said that my Father. All the prophets come to us, they say God is a Father. So why should I doubt Jesus Christ? Why should I ask Jesus Christ, oh, are you the Son of God? Did you have immaculate birth? There can be no immaculate birth. Yes, there can be immaculate birth. There can be anything God wants it to be. And the only thing that distinguishes an immaculate birth from another prophet or ordinary prophet is when they don't believe in the same God. Jesus Christ didn't come here to change Moses' law. He told us that. He said, you won't follow Moses' law, you can follow it. Won't follow me, you can follow me. It's in the Bible. But you can't come and say you're the prophet of a Christian nation. No. You're Christian prophet of the Jewish faith. And nothing wrong with that. That's part of the God of Israel. But we have to make it clear. Prophet Key say he's a Dan. And the Dan tribe is part of the tribe of Israel. I don't doubt that. The Igbo tribe in the Nigeria is a part of the Jewish kingdom too. But when you're a Jew in Liberia, you have to understand what that means. Every Liberian cannot be a Jew. Every Liberian cannot follow Jewish prophets. Because Judaism is a religion in which only the children of Abraham can be a part of that religion by blood. By blood, you got to be a child of the house of Abraham. And in Abraham's house, there were black children. So there are black Jews. But every Liberian is not invited into that Jewish faith. Only through Jesus Christ can we come into that Jewish faith. And if you don't understand the Jewish Bible and apply it to Liberian society, we always have problems. And this is the problem we have with religion in Liberia. We don't know our religious teachings. We don't know religious principles. People come and say, oh, God is this, that, we just follow them. No. You got to learn Jesus' law first if you're a Christian. You got to understand the Old and New Testament, but mostly the New Testament. The Old Testament for people who want to persist in religious education. Then you delve in it and learn it. But for people who want to learn about Jesus Christ, you got to start from the New Testament. Start. You can reference the Old Testament. You can reference it, but if you're going to be bogged down with those words, begat, beget, and all of that, you cannot persist in that area. You need to go to areas where Jesus Christ will talk to you. And everything Jesus Christ tells you comes from the past too. The 10 Commandments is the 10 Commandments. He ain't going to change it. That's the same 10 Commandments. But he broke all of that into two things. So you don't have to study those 10 things. Because whatever he tells you in those two things, you understand it, you understand Christian living. One, love your God. Love your God. And for Jesus, he's a Jew. So when Jesus tells you love your God, who you think he's talking about? The Jewish God. Then he tells you, love your neighbor as yourself. When you love your neighbor as yourself, you do nothing to hurt your neighbor. You're not barefoot witness against your neighbor. You not want to cover your neighbor's wife. You will not want to steal from your neighbor. You will not want to break your neighbor down. You will not want to do any of those things that will hurt your neighbor, because you love your neighbor as yourself, and you wouldn't want your neighbor to do anything to hurt you. So the 10th commandment right there is complete. So all the commandments are complete. Whether you know Jesus or not, whether you know the Old Testament or not, you don't have to go to the Old Testament. Jesus told you in his teaching, love your neighbor as yourself. If you love yourself, you can't hurt your neighbor, because you got to love him as yourself. You got to take time to think about your neighbor's needs, because you think about your needs. You got to take time to feed your neighbor children, because you got to feed your needs. Everything you have to do for yourself, Jesus has commanded that we do it to the next man. We do it to the next man. And so when I come and see my people going astray time and time again, and I start yelling and cussing and want to beat them, that's because I think about myself. And I keep wondering why my people can't listen and think about what I'm telling them, and think about themselves and mine too. Because if you think about yourself, you think about Chesson. If I think about myself and under the Christian law, I would think about you. And what I see going on in my country is not realistic. It's demonic. So I think about me and you perpetrating those things against me, and I get mad. I want to flog people, because that's what Jesus did in the temple. He kept telling the people, you can't live to that. Follow the truth. What is holy is holy. What is man is man. You cannot put the two together. When you put the two together and lose your discernment of separating the two and understanding the difference between the two, you lose consciousness of yourself. So Jesus took the belt and flogged people out of this temple, because that's a holy place. It's not a place to go sell. It's not a place to be thieves and robbers, because you know the marketplace is a place where thieves and robbers thread. They perish in there. They love the marketplace because they can pick pockets. They can cheat. And that way they make their daily bread. So if you bring that kind of thing into the house of God, you're desecrating the house of God. You're treating it as a common place for common thieves and vandals and rippers and all the things that go into it. And we got to know when to separate Christianity, God, Islam, Judaism. We got to know when to separate it from the physical life we live in, from the business life we live in. Because the business life, the everyday life, it can be sinful. That's where Satan dwells. So you should expect everything in the world. You can expect anything from the police, anything from the soldiers. Those are people held to protect other people, are trained into disciplining people. If you don't hold them to responsible standards, you know they will go run amok. Why you think they punish the soldiers and police in America more than they punish other people? When you're a police and soldier in America, you face more discipline. It doesn't have to be on the news or in the news all the time. You face discipline. Because there has to be a check and balance. Because you are taught to do things to subdue people, to influence people, to hurt people. And your actions got to be checked time and time again. And that's why in Liberia, we have to understand these things. Everything is in the Bible. Everything is in the Quran. Everything is in everything. But we got to know the separation of these religions. Because the separation of our religions is based on the laws, our teachings, our prophets. Muhammad taught different than Jesus Christ. So when you turn into Jesus Christ, you have to learn the foundation of Jesus' teachings and laws and understand them and know for them to be applicable in our society, we have to follow two laws. And those are the laws of Jesus Christ, because those are the only laws that give us opportunity for change, for equal living, for peace, prosperity. Okay? So that my topic on religious norms in Liberian society. Learn your religious principle. Learn what the prophet says. Learn the foundation of your teachings. And if you're going to compare it with Christian living, start from the New Testament. Because Jesus' laws start from the New Testament. For all of us who are not erudite, who are not educators and teachers, we don't have to learn the Old Testament. That's reference for us. That reference. Because the Old Testament is confusing. It's for the old people. When you want to read about Jesus Christ, start from the New Testament and study closely what his words are, what he's teaching you. Everything Jesus is teaching you is in the Old Testament, but it's in a new form. That's why it's called the New Testament. So when you understand the New Testament, you do not have to go back to the Old Testament, because everything in the Old Testament is renewed in the New Testament, because he says the laws of the old are transformed into two laws. And if you follow those two laws, you have satisfied every law of the Old Testament. And the only laws of the Old Testament are the 10 Commandments of God that he gave to Moses. That's the only law of the Old Testament. 10 laws. And Jesus brought them to 2. Love your God, that's a spiritual aspect. When you love your God, you have that divine power of the Spirit. Love yourselves. That's the rest of the 10 Commandments. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. Thank you. Aluta! Let's go into my last lesson and make it out of here. Can evil replace good? Never. Never. That's why good is always referred to as the light. Because the light reveals what is hidden. You see how everybody's praising the light in Liberia now? Because Liberia has transformed. People don't have to walk in darkness no more. People can stay longer outside and walk in group for their own safety. So you get used to the light. And when the light is shut up, when it comes on, you get used to it and it goes out. It's worse than you never had it before in the first place. Because you know how good the light is. You know how significant it is for you to see and mobilize yourself in the darkness. How to group together for safety, whether the enemy is hiding or not. There's a chance of your safety. But when the light goes, everything goes. And this how it is and has been in our country for too long. Because Liberian people should know the light cannot come on until we can afford it. The light will not stay on until we can afford it. Whether in the spiritual realm, whether in the physical realm. The light got to stay on. And the only thing that can keep it on is money, resources, blessings. So when people steal from us and consistently steal, they want to commit to doing what they want to do at the same time. It can't fully work. And you will come to see it. It will not fully work. There will always be patches here and patches there and patches here. Because if the stealing is continuous, if the stealing is never ending, there can be no way the lives of the mass of people will change. So some communities will always have to suffer for other communities to enjoy. Or we have to split the enjoyment so much because government officials still stealing, not accounting for our money. So much of our country money gone. The good, the good cannot be replaced by the evil. What has been laid for our future and our future children's future and our posterity and everything for us cannot be destroyed by the leaders of the day who keep perpetuating this evil against our people and society. You know, you steal millions of dollars and you can't build a little road here. We got foreign partners who perpetuating these people and want to make sure that we have lights and things to deceive our people. I heard somebody say on Lufa Julia's show, we can't be deceived just by the lights. Yes, they're good. But that good truth that should have been done long ago. Why is it just being done now? It's being done and our people still can't get paid. So what's the purpose of the lights? We're putting all these new lights and our people still haven't gotten paid for a year. Over a year. Our children still struggling to go to school. Our schools are inadequate. Our hospital inadequate. Our lifestyle is inadequate. We're in deep trouble, man. We're in deep trouble. And evil cannot replace good. Evil cannot replace good. Because all of us are becoming consciousness. Getting into the consciousness of the fact that we have been robbed. We have been lied to. We have been deceived. And we continue on this trend. We continue. How we get lights that our fathers and mothers haven't got paid. Our people can't send the children to school because they got money. People want a perfect living and they can't even pursue that. This is not right for our people. This is not right by our leaders. And we have to let these people know enough is enough. I don't know what to tell you to start. I don't know what to tell you to begin. I don't want that to be an issue for me. I'm just telling you, things got to change. Your either stand up and change it, your leaders change it, but something got to change. People just enriching themselves in our country, and our masses of people are left struggling with empty king jars. This is not fair. My lesson is done. Almost 1 o'clock, 1 hour, sorry. Have a good day. Have a good week. And my American people, we got to understand to set standards in our country for a better future. We got to punish Donald Trump. We got to make this man and his followers know we have laws. We have a civil society that does not only rest on the racist white, on the terrorist white who scare the other white people into silence, into punishment. And they continually and consistently do that to black people. Scare us, run off our land, rob us of everything we have with impunity. These people cannot continue to do it. Then when the white people who love freedom and constitutional democracy stand with us, they come and scare them. More than they scare us. They attack them. They beat them. They follow them with harassing words and carry guns against them. The time of the American people, the time of the Liberian people is now. Aluta! Continue. My lesson's done. Have a good day.